Hey ladies, it's Syddin from Syddin Pretty here, reinforcing the fundamentals of hair care, and I'm just gonna quickly dive into this video. I tried to make it yesterday, but it ended up being entirely way too long, so I'm gonna give y'all the rundown real quick. So, if you have been following me on Instagram, then you know that in around August, August or September, I publicly announced to my Instagram followers that I had been considering getting a relaxer. And I made it known that this was not something I newly thought about. It was something that I had decided early on in the start of my healthy hair journey. So I told my followers that I would consider, or that I would keep them in the loop, because a lot of them expressed the same sentiments, that they also wanted to get relaxers. Now, what I had told myself was I would follow up and let everybody know after the process happened. If I liked the stylist, I would shout them out. However, for whatever reason, I felt comfortable enough with this person. It was like, okay, no, I'll just go ahead and document the process. I like her, she seems cool, and I felt like it was gonna go well. What ended up happening was I did document that process, and then like a few days later, afterward, I never said anything else about it. And people started DMing me like, hey, what happened with the relaxer? How did you like it? I just publicly stated that I would make a YouTube video about it, but I had not gotten around to it. The reason being is because several days after my relaxer, I noticed that my hair was just breaking and breaking and breaking. So how I'm gonna give you all this video, because I want to keep it short and to the point. I'm not going to drag it out as a story time. I'm going to tell you what I noticed and what I think could be done differently, so that if you choose to get a relaxer, you should be able to avoid a situation like this happening to your hair. I noticed my hair breaking. One thing about my hair is when it's dirty, it does shed a lot, but that's usually on the second week. Typically, for me to maintain my hair and it not shed a ton, I need to wash weekly. Otherwise, when my hair is dirty, it sheds a lot. But this was just 2 and 3 days after the process. Little tiny pieces were just all over the place. And you know, I'm like, okay, well, we did not do a protein treatment after, nor did we deep condition. So I know it's early, I just got my hair done, but what I'm gonna do is rinse my hair, or wash my hair, and I'm gonna do these treatments. Another thing I had noticed beside the breaking is in the back, where it seemed like the relaxer had been applied first. Literally, it was straw-like, crunchy, to the point where when I rubbed the hair together, it like made a crunchy sound. And other people feel it and they was like, what the hell, like, it's crunchy. So that's another reason I was like, no, I need to treat my hair. When I washed my hair, I noticed that the front, which is all I had gotten on Instagram, and all I had saw when I was getting my hair done, was pretty decent. Like, it was wavy, it was straight, it was what I expected it to look like. Because the reason I booked this stylist, I found her on YouTube. Her philosophy is you should keep some texture in the hair to keep the hair strong, and I agree, which is why I went with her. So the front looked normal, but the back was still nappy, y'all. Like, it's still nappy. Now, it's a looser curl than it was before. It's not like it looks exactly like before, but it was still nappy, but it was dead straight in the middle where it was crunchy, like dead straight. So it was also like that in my roots too, and I have a picture, I can insert it. This concerned me. It concerned me because, in my opinion, and in the opinions I've had, it seems like that part that's super straight right there was over processed. That is where she started the relaxer. I believe the hair was over processed. Now, it was either over processed because she left it on there too long and did not use a timer, or it was over processed because it was not rinsed out all the way. But all I know is the hair was crunchy as a mug and breaking off. So another reason this concerned me is because my hair is really tight, and in order for me to blow dry it, I have to use tension. Tension is what gets your hair straight during the blow dry process, not the heat. So I was concerned because I have this hair that's super straight, and on the ends in my roots I have this hair that's super nappy, that in order for me to straighten it, I really do need to put more tension on it, right? And I'm just like, how am I going to do this without putting too much stress on that hair in the middle? when I'm explaining this to people, for some reason they don't get it, but I'm sure if they did my hair, they could understand what I'm saying. I was like, okay, let me relax. I'm gonna do these treatments, I'm gonna give it a few days. And I said, what I will do is reach out to the stylist and see that when my touch-up comes around, will she be able to reapply the relaxers to these areas? I sent her a picture and I was like, hey, will you be able to touch up these areas during my touch-up? And she said, yeah, for sure, I can, it's not a big deal. And I said, will this be an issue? Like, will this cause breakage with me adding more relaxer? Would it be in two different textures, whatever? And she was like, no, it's only a problem if your ends are straight and your roots are nappy. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't say nothing. However, after this, I sent her this while I was still doing my hair. So several days later, my hair was still super hard in those areas and it was still breaking. So I called her first thing on like Tuesday. I got my hair done on a Tuesday. I called her a week later, or maybe it was Monday. Either way, I called her almost a week later and I was like, hey, I'm concerned because it's still breaking. And she was like, really? I don't really know why it would be breaking. I didn't leave it on there long. I didn't do this, I didn't do this. And, in that moment, I'm just thinking to myself, time flies. And if you're not using a timer, really, how do you really know how long you left it on there? And for two, it was just kind of like, because when you're experiencing something and you're witnessing something, in my opinion, the last thing I want to hear is what you didn't do. Because all I can do is let you know what's happening and I need a solution. Because obviously something did not go right. She was like, you know what, I'm not in town right now, but when I come back, you can come in, I'll co-wash it and I'll see. So I would like to say I am appreciative that she did show some or offer some sort of a solution in that moment, because I know there are lots of stylists out there who wouldn't even give me that. I was honestly just kind of annoyed with the fact that this had even happened in the first place. I was just like, you know what, I'm kind of annoyed, so I don't want to go to her because I don't want to. I'm a hairstylist too. I work in this area. I don't want to have that type of issue. I don't really want to go there and it be a problem and then that. I don't want no drama, so let me cool off and figure it out. And then if I feel like this is somebody I want to return to, I will. I ended up drenching my hair in olive oil and wearing it in a bun for 2 weeks, and then I just got around to silk pressing it or wearing it in a press again, whatever. And my hair is still breaking. I would have said it wasn't as bad as it was, but for whatever reason this week it has been. And now I want to get into what I think caused it. One thing I think the most important part of why this occurred is because this person did not require a consultation. I require consultations for all of my clients, and I don't even do chemicals. I just feel like if you don't know somebody's hair and you're offering them a new service, especially like a chemical, I think consultations are super important, because how can you truly render the service for that person and their individual needs without really knowing their hair? So I said that to say, my hair, I always wear it pressed. So when I came to the appointment, my hair was pressed. It was not in its natural state. Y'all don't specialize in relaxers, and I have not had a relaxer in so long that wasn't something that occurred to me until after this process has happened. Nor did the stylist say it was something that was needed. When I came to her, I did give her the disclaimer like, hey, there are some areas in my hair that are straight. So I know that the reason my hair is patchy and nappy and straight and just all these random textures is because she thought out the timing in her head based on what I told her rather than what she saw in my hair. So I said that to say, y'all, if you're thinking of going back to a relaxer, go to somebody who is going to require a consultation, because that person probably has had enough experiences and cares enough to know that in order for me to render this service properly, I'm going to have to see people's hair beforehand. Secondly, I believe this went wrong because that whole timer thing, like, I'm somebody who goes based on, I like to feel the hair too, and I am experienced to know certain things without having to necessarily be like that. But it's like, when it comes to chemicals, I just feel like you should still time your services. You should still, especially when you're talking, and because you start to, even though you might not realize it, you're starting to slow down. So I feel like the whole not using a timer thing was a big issue. I don't know whether the relaxer was left on too long or wasn't rinsed out properly. But I said that to say, make sure your hair is rinsed out properly. Secondly, make sure this person is going to, I feel like a deep condition and a protein treatment should automatically be included in the service. Now, she did not have any protein treatments available. She deep conditioned my hair with a regular conditioner. Y'all, we live in Las Vegas. Ain't no regular conditioner for the deep condition your hair. I think that had we used a real deep conditioner, that possibly would have helped. Oh, get your hair relaxed with it in its natural state. Those are my tips. Also, I would say go to somebody who specializes specifically in relaxers. Not people who relax and they do this and they do this and they do this. Go to a relaxer specialist. Just like you want to go to somebody who specializes in curly hair, who specializes in weaves. Always go to people who specialize. They know it like the back of their hand. If I went and talked to them about the situation, they would be able to pinpoint what I'm telling them immediately and say, okay, it's probably this is what you need. And I would say, lastly, make sure that you go to somebody who's as concerned for your hair as you are. Now, if you're panicky and worried, like, you know, ain't nobody gonna be like that, but go to somebody who is as concerned about your hair as you are concerned about it, for one, and for two, somebody who wears their own hair and their hair looks like what you would like your hair to look like, for real. And I'm just keeping it real, because I just tend to notice people who don't really wear their own hair, I just feel like they're a lot more lax when it comes to hair care. I'm saying these things just to give an honest account of what's happening to my hair or what happened with the relaxer. A lot of people, when I expressed what I had to say about this to them, I had some very condescending comments like, well, was it worth it? Absolutely, it was worth it, because I did the best I could in finding stylists. It's hard to find good stylists these days, especially in Las Vegas. So I don't regret getting a relaxer at all. I don't regret choosing this person because, again, I did the best that I could. Now I know better. I will not be going back relaxed. And what I will do if all else fails is I'll just have to cut my hair and just start over. Not short, but just cut it to where it's breaking and transition my ends off. But I think moving forward, I will attempt to do my own corrective relaxer. And depending on how that goes, you know, whatever, I will from now on be doing my own touch-ups. I think that it'll be a long time before I sit in another stylist chair other than to get a haircut. I have no issues getting haircuts. Yeah, so that's basically the update on my hair. That was 15 minutes. And now I'm gonna go, so what I'll do is make a part 2. If you want to see part 2, make sure you check the comments below, because I will leave the link to part 2 in the comments or in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Did you get a relaxer recently? If so, how did it go? Let me know in the comments below.